Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and finish up lesson 4.6 in our pre-calc book, doing example 5, where we're going to completely factor a polynomial again, but we're going to do this over the real numbers, okay, as it says here, and then over the set of complex numbers. So we're going to show how to do that. And the first thing we want to do is we're going to find any real zeros we can. And I've done that, and I've found that there's -1 and 4 are both real zeros. So you can see that on the graph here or in the table. And so we're going to use those zeros to take this quartic polynomial and make it into a quadratic by using synthetic division. So first of all, we have zeros once again. We'll write them down here at -1 and at 4. And so I'm going to do synthetic division with -1 first of all. Take our coefficients, so 1, -5, 4, 2, and -8. And we'll go ahead and bring down the 1. -1 times 1 is -1, so we have -6. Times -1 is 6, so we have 10. Times -1 is -10. Combine them, we get -8. Times -1 is 8, and 0. Okay, so we've reduced that from a quartic to a cubic, and now we'll use 4 and reduce this down to a quadratic, where we can either use the quadratic formula or use completing the square. So bring down a 1 again. 4 times 1 is 4, so this is -2. Times 4 is -8, which gives us +2. Times 4 is +8, and we get 0. So factoring this over the set of real numbers, we will have, so real numbers, we will have x plus 1, x minus 4, and x squared minus 2x plus 2. And so that would be the factorization over the set of real numbers. Then to find it over the set of complex numbers, we need to take our answer here, x squared minus 2x plus 2, and we need to be able to find the zeros for that so we can factor that. So we're going to have to use either completing the square or the quadratic formula, and we'll go ahead and use the quadratic formula in this case. So we have -2, our value will be over 2 times 1 plus or minus the square root of -2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 2, and that also again is over 2 times 1. So we'll go ahead and simplify this. So we get -1 plus or minus. In the numerator, we have the square root of 4 minus 8, which is -4 over 2. So this actually turns out really nice with the square root of -4, because now we have -1 plus or minus 2i over 2, which is -1 plus or minus I. So that actually turns out pretty easily for us to help us out. So when we factor it over the set of complex numbers then, well, let's write that down. Factors, there we go, complex numbers. So we have x plus 1, x minus 4, and then we have x minus, and we have the opposite of, we're going to go ahead and have the opposite then of this. So we have -1 plus I, so the opposite of that would be x plus 1 minus I, and then we have x plus 1 plus I. So the one thing you notice is always in the case when we do this is that you always end up with a minus here and a plus there, or just the opposite. So this 1 here is the opposite of the one I have here. So where this was -1, this is +1 here and here. And since it's plus or minus I here, then I'm going to have a plus and a minus in each of those spots. And so we factor that over the set of real numbers. You can see them here, and over the set of complex numbers. And that concludes this lesson.